Do you want some Heat information? Because Mike Ryan.
Is it accurate?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. We didn't come down on them hard enough for that stuff that they leaked out to Shams after the fact. I had the official Heat mouthpiece saying, the offer is what the offer is. And then all of a sudden we find out about, we just found 3 first-round draft picks. How convenient.
Mike Ryan has been claiming that Pat Riley, and this is an escalation of the criticism I did not see coming. Mike Ryan this weekend claimed loudly, angrily, that Pat Riley is now eating tapioca pudding.
Put it on the poll. I think people will agree with me.
I get it, yeah.
Well, tapioca. Slow on the draw. Second consecutive offseason. Ridiculous. The Bucks and the Celtics getting better. He'd be eating tapioca if Joe Cronin didn't take it from him.
I want to talk about a couple of parts of this. The Heat would acknowledge to you that the total offer that the Blazers got is better. And there you lose a lot of different ways.
Yeah, no crap. Tyler Hero, take it or leave it, isn't as good.
No, let's backtrack for just a second because they had the value assigned on Holiday and Lillard, and we're not going to go over the value that was assigned, which leaves them open to the tapioca criticism. But they were surprised by the amount that Boston gave up to complete the Holiday trade because you know that Kyle Lowry is proof. Guards that age and size they deteriorate poorly at the end. That at Holiday's age, Lowry's numbers were what Holiday's numbers are, and so they were looking at Lillard, Holiday, Lowry, and there is high risk in being guard dependent later in age when your guards are old. So they had the value assigned where it was assigned. They had the Phoenix part of the deal was the same. The issue was in engaging Utah and Brooklyn, in engaging those teams, what that could put together, including picks, doesn't match what it is that Boston gave up if Boston is healthy. They were surprised by the amount Boston gave up. They value Jrue Holiday more than the Heat value Jrue Holiday, so you don't get him either.
Time Lord and Malcolm Brogdon, that's one working knee between the two of them. Are they going to pass that physical?
If healthy is
together.
If healthy is a big one, but if you're talking
Brogdon
about
couldn't pass a physical a couple months ago, and I thought his knees were in better shape than Time Lord's.
And that wasn't even the injury that kept him out of the Eastern Conference Finals. But Stugotz, Ayton, Brogdon, Williams, and picks, when you look at the totality of it, that is better than what could have been swung with Utah or Brooklyn. But because the sides were not engaging, it didn't even get to that point. I understand that Mike Ryan and the Heat fan base wants to be furious and should be furious that you did not get Lillard. You had the expectation of getting Lillard. But I don't know what you want to do if there wasn't engagement from that side, period. If there was not communication, if there wasn't even the knowledge of what would you like off of Utah and Brooklyn's.
Right. Takes two to tango, though, Dan. And there was an engagement from Miami because, according to their official mouthpiece, they said take it or leave it, and that was their stance, and they weren't going to re-engage either. That's what they did.
There was a lot
they
of
blew
that.
it.
They did not get the 2 players. They do not look better today. We've got
their competition looks a lot better.
Yes,
I mean,
that part's
second straight. In fairness to them, second straight offseason, and they made it to the NBA Finals last year. Now they could have also been eliminated in the play-in. It was like that close.
Right.
You were on a razor's edge last year. It could have been a disastrous season where we all said, "Look what you did. You sat idly by. Everybody lapped you." But they somehow made it through a really difficult path to the NBA Finals. I don't see a year older and everybody just that much better how they can do that again.
Can we, for just a second, though, before getting to that, because, like I said, Chris Cody and Tony are out at Heat Media Day, and we will check in with them at some point here. But, Stugotz, the part to me that is most fascinating about all of this, and I feel like in all the talk about Lillard, like this part hasn't been talked about enough. You do realize that Cronin just changed the paradigm, correct? A player like Lillard with that kind of relationship, a star of that caliber, goes where he wants. He was bluffing on all the talk. It was clear. He agreed to Milwaukee. He did not have to do that. He wasn't doing what Harden and what Miami needed him to do is don't make it the agent speaking for you and saying you won't sign, you'll get to Milwaukee or anywhere else. He approved Milwaukee. So he did not want to take this to where he needed to take it, where Portland was willing to take it in taking back the power, Stugotz, because what you have to risk if you're Damian Lillard is the next step on that, your fan base eating at the trough. What do you mean you don't want to play with Giannis in Milwaukee if that helps our team? And he wasn't willing to do the things necessary to make the mess necessary.
He didn't want it bad enough.
But, I don't know if you read the Chris Haynes report over the weekend that really detailed from Damian's camp's perspective what happened. Once it became evident that Portland wasn't going to be dealing with Miami, Damian Lillard went to the Portland Trail Blazers front office and said he would like to come back to Portland, that it was legitimately Miami or Portland. And Portland said, no, we've gone too far down that road. You can't come back. And that's when the Brooklyn and Milwaukee exploration happened.
I have not gotten, though, yet to what I find interesting about that with all of this as the setup. Cronin, Stugotz, is like Eric Spoelstra, intern to power in a dream job, did it on interim, and now is responsible for the whole place. Started as an intern and now runs the place. And in that time, the relationship gets built between the general manager and the employee in all that time. But Cronin is now in his dream job with the pressure of, you better not blow this. You've got to protect your job, not Damian Lillard's job, not Damian Lillard's feelings. Your job is the one that needs to be protected here. And in that crossroads, Stugotz, you torch your relationship with Damian Lillard. Torch it. Set it up in flames because he was trying to be careful about how he did that. He wanted to come back, and now you're running him out the door. But if those players are healthy, that's a haul. That's a haul for Damian Lillard at this stage in his career with that contract. And they did get something better than the Miami Heat had to offer when
But that's the job, Dan, to get as much as you can for a guy who wants to leave your organization.
But Stugotz, the way that job has been done, it's not just the last 12 years when the players took over, because Stugotz, everyone doing what Lillard has done, the GM hasn't done his job of making his team better. He gets what he can get.
Sure.
Because the star gets to go where he wants.
There is an important variable here that should be mentioned. Cronin's ownership situation is presently in a trust. He's got a plan for an entire career. And also, without legacy ownership there, Damian's loyalty isn't to a trust. It's to people and faces that he would see every day. It would be to an owner. We've seen owner-to-owner deals happen all the time. So an absentee ownership coupled with, if a new owner comes in, they're going to want their new person anyway. So with this deal, I'm essentially building my resume. You actually piece together exactly why Cronin went about it the way that he did, which is why I've turned my ire completely towards the Miami Heat.
The cold of the business, Stugotz, here to me was fascinating because I didn't think this could happen quietly. Cronin was willing to do the thing that Lillard wasn't. Lillard didn't want to torch the relationship with that city, and every GM is always afraid. It's the only reason Lillard had power. We were saying for 12 years here, 12 years, they're under contract. Why do they keep getting traded to wherever they want? Like, why? If they're under contract, you have the power. But Cronin was willing to do something dirty to a relationship, right? It's cold. It's just business. It's not dirty to us sitting here. That's his job. You're saying the business is cold. But before the last 12 years, I remember I was listening recently. I don't even remember who the GM was, but like whoever traded Jack Sikma, somebody else at the end, they were just saying, yeah, the guy had given so much to our organization and I had profited from it because he was a star, that I just traded him where he wanted to go because we had a relationship. I was grateful for what he did for me.
Right.
He was grateful for what I had done for him. What Cronin was willing to do here, it's what you have to be willing to do if you're going to actually take the power back from the superstar, because Lillard not only got hurt with this, not only got angry about this, Stugotz, now goes to a city with no power that he wasn't looking to live in.
Yeah, but he's playing with Giannis.
I know.
Like, if the goal is to win an NBA championship, you're on the right team.
Understood, Stugotz, and that is the goal for many. But sometimes you want to live in the place you want to live too.
Right.
For 6 months a year, and usually power of that kind gets to do that. But here it changed, and you haven't seen it in a minute. Like, this isn't Donovan Mitchell. You're talking about a relationship with a city that was at risk, and the GM was willing to torch it, and the superstar was not.
You've been seeing it recently, though, with Miami and their pursuit of Donovan Mitchell and their pursuit of Kevin Durant and their pursuit of Damian Lillard. They've said they want Miami. Miami just hasn't been able to get it done. They've been outshined sometimes by teams that got really creative that we wondered aloud, well, they don't have more assets than Miami. This is a failing by the Miami Heat, and I'm left to wonder, what now? I guess the improvements made across the Eastern Conference have really prioritized offense over defense. We're going to grit our way to another 8 seed and hope to God we get lucky again? What's the plan? It's that Jovic becomes a superstar? Where do we go from here? There's no one else. There's no one. Is it Harden? Oh my God, is it Harden?
Embiid.
You gotta hope. You gotta wait for Embiid.
How long?
You gotta wait for that to totally implode in Philadelphia and for him to do the thing.
How long? January? I can wait till January.
She's in where are we gonna be at January? Honestly, we're gonna be in play-in form again. I don't know what the plan is.
No,
here.
well, you're gonna be hurt by Vincent and Strus not being here anymore.
No, you gotta hope that Juan Wick and Jovic are dudes.
It's fair criticism by Mike. Like, the plan can't just be hopefully someone on another team gets upset and maybe we have a chance, which seems like that's been the plan since LeBron left.
But it's worked. It's how
No,
LeBron got here. What do you mean it hasn't?
But it's worked in spite of that, because that has always been the plan. We'll get the whale to push ourselves over. I'm the Godfather. I have shown time and time again I'm willing to push assets in there and make a big trade. And they've made 2 finals recently in spite of that.
That's the only reason people will say it's worked, because they've had success
but
on
everybody
Jimmy Butler's already on
Mike,
borrowed
I agree
time.
with you.
Yes. No, but you guys can agree, and this is where the standard has been set, and it is fair criticism. But the standard has been set in a place, Stugotz, where, yeah, that's been the plan for 12 years, and every fan base in America and North America would take that plan if it nets you half the whales sometimes.
I'm not with that. Cleveland gets it. Cleveland has a GM. Miami and Cleveland over the last few years have been in on guys together. Cleveland gets it, people. Yes. Do they have assets because LeBron depleted us from ours? Fine. Show me the baby. Phoenix pulling assets out of their asset. I don't know how they make it happen. Same goes for Brooklyn. Same goes for Philadelphia. You're now this isn't the days of 2015 where you sold the future. Miami has assets. Miami has draft capital. They're going in standoffs with other teams, and they're getting their tapioca pudding taken from them.
My point to you and everyone listening here is the plan for 12 years, and no one seemed to have a problem with it, given that an entire generation has seen the Heat take over this city in those 12 years.
Yeah.
The plan for 12 years has been go get somebody else's guy. Go get that guy to play for us.
He set the bar really high, Dan. He got the ultimate guy.
But he got 3 of them. He
had one of them already.
He had one, so he gets 2 more. And then after that, yes, they swing and miss more often than not. They do swing and miss more often than not.
Way more. We're about to read. It's media day today. We're about to read season preview columns where they say key additions. And it's Josh Richardson. Are you prepared for that?
Really?
Are you prepared for that?
No,
Are you prepared for the Miami
back.
Heat offseason preview recap to be key additions? Thomas Bryant and Josh Richardson, who now gets his number 0 back. I'm so mad about that.
What are we going to get from do you guys know, is anyone in charge of what Chris, Cody, and Tony are doing from Heat Media Day? We've lost Lucy and Roy and Jessica. They've drifted off into a droning sleep. All of them have no interest whatsoever in anything that we're talking about here.
What are you talking about?
They'll make the conference final again.
Who's going to make the conference final again?
I have Celtics and Bucks. I mean,
you have the high of Marlins baseball they just came off of, Dan. It's understandable.
Wait, who's it funnier if Miami loses to in the playoffs? The Bucks, right? It's still the Bucks, or is it
Boston.
the Celtics?
No,
via
Boston.
The
Well, here's what.
Embrace debate.
I'd say Chicago.
Question.
I'd say Chicago. would be the funniest.
Do you know
that'd
what?
be funny in a sad way.
in the plan?
Do you know how crazy it is? Crazy it is.
Next.
That Mike Ryan's standard with this Heat team, where it's gotten, is that over the weekend he's saying that Pat Riley is eating tapioca. And quiet as it's kept, this team just blew up the Celtics. You know that, right? They blew up what was the Celtics core because it couldn't get past the Miami Heat. And hey, Robert Williams, thanks for the work. Brogdon, you were supposed to be missing piece. Don't need you here.
And you know what they did in breaking up their
got
core?
better.
They got better. They added Porzingis. They added Jrue Holiday, who the Miami Heat assigned a value to and is going to be the only person on that team playing defense.
Maybe if they're healthy, they got better. But this team was, Stugotz, when it was healthy, the number one defense in the sport with Robert Williams, and Marcus Smart was alleged. I heard a lot with the green hair. Heart and soul, defensive player of the year. And now you're telling me that Amin's calling Jrue Holiday a corpse.
Those are all guys that I wanted on the court for Boston, and I'm sad to see them leave.
But Dan, Mike is
Robert
right.
Williams healthy is a different story, but Robert Williams
He's
hurt.
never healthy, Mike.
What he became after being forced to play through that injury in another series with Miami, it nuked his career to the point that he was an offensive liability at times.
But Mike is right in this regard. Like, if you go back to the Big Three, it wasn't really Riley who landed that. It was Dwayne Wade who landed LeBron James and Chris Bosh.
That's correct.
They were his best friends. Wade is as responsible as anyone. And if you're Riley, the days are over where you just say, hey, Portland, play ball. Just wait. No. Cronin saw a better deal, saw a way to improve his team. His job is not to make Damian Lillard happy in Portland for life. His job is to make the Blazers better, period.
But this where Stugotz lands on this, I believe, is why right here. This one has so many elements, Stugotz, so many elements that the NBA fan can cheer. First of all, Miami, you lose. Ha ha, everyone gets to laugh at you. Also, Damian Lillard and Giannis together. Loyalty guys. That'll be fun to watch. Perfect together. We all want to watch that. But the biggest of all of them, I think, is now Stugotz and everyone else gets to say, finally, a GM gets the power back from these clowns. Did you see what Kyrie and Kevin Durant did to the Nets? Set them back years. Finally, it takes Cronin to get in here and tell everybody, no, the player does not have the power. And furthermore, I'm going to show everyone that you were lying about the fact that you said you were going to ask for a trade if we sent you anywhere else. No, you weren't. We're sending you to a cold city, not a warm one. You're going to eat it. We're going to destroy our relationship with you. You're going to leave feeling hurt and angry. And worst of all, powerless. But you're a superstar and you're powerless.
But didn't him and his agent say they'd be fine with him going to Milwaukee? Like, we're acting like he was a hostage that was sent there against his will, and he's going to be miserable there, and he has no option.
Well, he had to agree to it.
Yeah, that was after he lost a power struggle because he was like, okay, I'll just come back to Portland, and that would be his latest move. I'll just be here. You'll have to see my face every day. I'll make it a lot more difficult for you. This will fester to a point that you'll want to trade me anyways come mid-season, and you'll get diminishing returns on it. They called him out on it. And then his agent had to go reach out to Brooklyn and Milwaukee because he had lost.
But to Billy's point, he landed in a good spot. Like
a good spot that he was.
I understand geographically he may have wanted to been, down here, better weather. I get all that. But he landed with Giannis on a team that just won an NBA title, on a team that's relevant every single year.
But it was his third
boo-hoo,
choice.
Damian Lillard.
If you believe the reporting, and again, there are agendas to make people look good. There are agendas to pacify Heat fans with the most recent spin on assets that just got plucked out of thin air. And there's an agenda with Damian Lillard. No, I don't want the Portland people to be mad at me. My priority was Miami. My backup plan was stay in Portland. They told me I couldn't have either.
Stugotz just wrote down boo-hoo for me, and he spelled who wrong.
How do you spell it?
How did he spell it wrong?
He spelled it as who, W-H-O.
I mean, technically.
Oh, it was a question.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, who am I booing here? Boo Riley.
He did put it with a question
yeah,
mark.
boo
You know
Riley.
what? I'm actually
was
wondering
asking
the
you.
same thing after listening to the segment. Who am I supposed to boo?
It's Pat Riley.
Who am I mad at right now?
I'm mad at Pat Riley.
Boo-hoo.
The Mets grounds crew.
Who should we boo? Boo-hoo.
Lionel Messi.
Fangs.
Fangs.
Yes, who should we should boo the Cubs?
Cater Kohu. I'm super mad at Cater Kohu because he couldn't defend Stephon Diggs.
I'm kind of surprised. As much as Stugotz can lack general empathy, I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't feel for somebody who thought they had a lot of power being shown in public to have no power at all. Like, I thought you would enjoy just that part. You're right. But you do. Yes, Milwaukee's a fine place for him to be from a team perspective.
I thought you were talking about Pat Riley.
It's a nice place for Damian Lillard to land as a fit, but to be in front of everyone angling for a thing and to be the first player told, hey, as excellent as you are, you couldn't traffic in your relationship, love of city, any of it. You couldn't actually pull the trigger on it. You're going to go where we want you to. You have no power, superstar.
I'm just saying, for a guy whose best player was C.J. McCollum, that was his best teammate ever in Portland. Now he's playing with Giannis. Get over it. Move on. Boo-hoo.